Hi, and welcome back to the next session on Caboose Expert Sessions. So this is the second one now. Hope you enjoyed the first one we've done with Paul Mott. It's been quite popular and the feedback's been very positive actually. So we're really enthused by that and glad that the message has got out there and it's adding value to the community. We remain committed as a business to adding value to the Blythe community and doing what we can through this crisis. And that's really what Caboose Expert Sessions is all about, is looking at how, on top of the food that we put out there, how else can we sort of utilise and leverage our network to try and help people as best we can. And the guest we've got today really adds to that, brings a whole new dimension to things. Building on the stuff that we talked about with Paul, we're going to go a little bit more deeper into how that maybe affects our children or our family and stuff like that. So we've got Julie Brown with us today. Julie's a business owner in Blythe, resident in Blythe and a business owner. And she has the business called My Mental Health Rocks. So Julie, do you want to just give a little bit of an introduction about yourself and what you guys do?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me on as well. I'm so pleased to be here. My Mental Health Rocks is a not-for-profit organisation that's on a mission to teach every child via free school workshops that they are whole, that they have innate well-being inside them, that they can never be broken no matter what happens, and that they can also do things to help their systems that are carrying them through to work, even so they can see them working. So we have a really fun 90-minute workshop that we've already delivered into a few schools in Blythe and around the country as well, that really teaches children that they're enough.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I bet you people's wondering, well, how can we possibly link that back to food?
Yeah.
And I think Paul touched on it in the last video as well, and I really believe in this. I think there's nothing more important than how we feel, because from that comes all types of different thoughts and emotions and behaviours. And I think, we discussed this previously. What we put in our bodies pretty much determines how we're going to feel in a lot of ways. So how we fuel ourselves can have a big impact on how we feel. So, I think the link between food and what you've just been discussing is very clear. There's a very clear connection there, but I just hope, I want people to realise that we're not going off on a tangent here. There is actually a very tight relationship between both.
Well, I think, for all our innate well-being's always there, it's always supporting us. It's most certainly true that if the food that we eat is heavy, is sluggish, is food that we really know, even children, there are so many studies done that children know and gravitate towards better food because they know that sustains them, that helps their body grow, that helps their minds grow. So if we are eating food that's really not leaving our bodies feeling our best, then our minds are going to go trigger down those thoughts that really, we don't really feel very good. So there's a definite link.
Good. Well, that leads us nicely into the first question I've got actually, and it covers a little bit of the same ground there. So can you just talk to us? Well, you know what we're doing here at Caboose Home with Caboose Fresh, getting meal packs out to people with fresh ingredients in there. It's not a diet. I keep feeling compelled to make that point all the time, but this is not a diet. It's just a way of getting good food into people, not frozen stuff, not processed food, just fresh produce into a bag with a recipe and a video to show them how to do it. Because at this time, I think we need that more than ever, is to get some good stuff in there. So can you just talk about how, in terms of for children then, how important is it to get good fresh food into children, particularly now when there's so much chaos going around? How can that impact them?
Well, I think to me, it's really obvious. Because to me, if adults eat a lot of food that's heavy, that's stodgy, that's not great, they feel a bit heavy and stodgy and not great, and children work the same way. So it's no different.
I've got this camera from here up because I'm a bit heavy and stodgy.
The feeling. You know what? I put weight on in this time that we've been in, and I know that my diet hasn't been the best. But I think you're right. People there's a misconception with diet. Diet isn't losing weight. Diet simply means the food that you eat.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
just the industries have all jumped on top of it to try and make a lot of quick bucks out of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, children, for all they're not running around and dispelling as much energy
Yeah.
for the energy in and the energy out, they certainly are mentally, because they're as confined, because they can be frustrated, because they are missing out and their lives have been disrupted and changed so much.
Yeah.
Again, if they're eating food, and you know what, I'm certainly not going to say anything, because every now and again we've all had the old pizza meal, we have all
Sure,
had.
you've got to break the emergency glass and get it out, haven't you?
It's all about a balance.
Yeah.
If we have that all the time, then our children who are already maybe feeling a little bit like stir crazy, being stuck in the house all the time, that's going to impact on that and make it a little bit worse. And that in turn is going to make it worse for the parents, because then you've got children who are not happy.
Yeah. So there's a clear link there between eating good, fresh stuff and how these kids are going to feel at the moment.
Well, we nourish our bodies, we nourish our brains. For all the kids can never ever be broken.
Yeah.
They can certainly have a physical experience.
Yeah.
Of eating one food one way and food another way. That's
right. Yeah.
constant.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to touch on is how the parent comes into that then, because it's challenging being a parent in the best of times, depending on the age of your kid will depend on the challenge that they bring at that point in time, because there's always going to be stuff to sort of, overcome and get through and battle on with. So, like I said, that's tough at the best of times. And right now, parents are going to be kind of running out of ideas, in terms of food. What am I going to give them? How can I keep them happy? How do we keep things, not let it get boring? And that's when you tend to reach for the convenience stuff like the pre-packaged frozen, the takeaways and all the rest of it. Because it is convenient and it's easier. But it's easier in the absence of a better idea. It's perceived to be easier because some people, and it's not a criticism, it's just a reflection of where we are. A lot of families are working families and very busy, and sometimes thinking of new meals all the time is just not a priority, and I get that. So looking at how challenged people are right now, by using something like Caboose Fresh, it brings something new into the home and something a little bit different. So just think about the parents' behaviour. How do you think that the parents' behaviour influences the child? So, in terms of what the children does, how much impact does the parent have on that? So if the parent's making better choices, how and bringing new ideas in and getting, them themselves trying new foods, how can that influence how can that positively influence the child then?
Children are sculptors. Children mirror what they see. And if parents take a look at their children, they do that with the language that they use. They do that with their views that they come. Quite often you'll hear parents say, "She's been here before. She's a little mini adult," and they're just listening and mimicking children's conversations. And they do that with food. And you're right that people, and I've, been there, done it. When I've been out at work all day and I come in the house and I just think, oh my goodness, phone a takeaway. And I think to myself, it's quicker to phone a takeaway because it takes us a few minutes to phone it, but in the hour it takes to be delivered, I could have made something.
Yeah.
But I just, because I'm a little bit tired and I've got lower brain thinking that way, a bit like, it seems like a good idea at the time. But My Mental Health Rocks, what we think is our beliefs are that children have got these systems that carry them through. Now, those systems are creativity. They're always there. Now, creativity doesn't have to be writing and drawing. It can be giving them ingredients and getting in the kitchen with them and really letting them have a play, have an explore, and then be proud of something that they've created. That's just one of the systems. We've got 5 different systems that we use, but that if parents are struggling to get children off computers and things like that, get them into the kitchen. You have conversations with them. You reconnect with your child that you might not see most of the day in the bedroom. And creating something as a family, you're eating it as a family. It really reconnects and changes the whole dynamic of the family. So I think what you're doing is a really, really cool idea, because it's taking some of the guesswork out for people who just might not know how to make something or might not have the confidence.
Well, the whole point of so as well as the sort of recipe sheets that we send out and obviously the ingredients, we shoot videos, because maybe it's just me, but if you read a recipe sometimes, I often find that there's half the stuff's missing, you know, in terms of there's little bits of intuitive knowledge and little quirks of the trade that you need to know to actually produce what this recipe is demanding. And if you don't know it, you don't know it. So the video is there to kind of fill in the gaps and give a bit more guidance. And also, everyone's kitchen's not the same. You'll have different equipment in there to what I've got. So sometimes that can be a barrier. And people can be put off by that and think, oh, well, I haven't got all the stuff to do this. So the point of the video is to kind of, like I say, fill in those gaps and give them a little bit more, and it's a bit fun as well, you know, give them a little bit more information to get people to try new things, you know, because I keep saying this, you're going to get really, really bored with the same foods all the time, and then that leads to poorer decision making and poorer choices around nutrition, I think.
It just brings a cycle. It just brings a cycle of being bored and just not making great choices. So then you don't feel great. So then you're bored. So you don't make great. And it just continues on. And sometimes you've just got to break that pattern. And when you said the videos, again, for me, what came up to my mind is how cool would it be for families to make little mini videos of making the recipes.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. And there's a lot of people actually doing that.
You know, and you're right. I'm currently trying to master the art of pilau rice. And I've got the taste, it's lovely, but can I get the little red bits? I've got the colours of the saffron and that, but I can't get it. But I'm quite happy with the taste. It doesn't look as great, but it tastes lush. So it is right having the little video.
Yeah. It just supports the whole thing.
And just that's why it's not going right. And we all, I think, I remember when I first started doing the cooking, I made a pan of soup and it was that thick even the birds wouldn't eat it. It was horrendous. So we all have, you know, good stories and bad stories around food, but if we can sometimes believe those stories,
absolutely,
if we believe those stories, then we think we can't cook, we're not good cooks. So then we rely on convenience food. So then our children just think, oh, well, that's how you eat, that's how you do it, and that just becomes their norm. And
I suppose going back to the previous question about how people influence is, if you've never been brought up in a home where someone is a good cook, you know, you're probably already telling yourself that I'm not a good cook then because I've never been taught that. So you're kind of reinforcing those beliefs, aren't you?
Yeah, and if you don't have a bit of a sense of humour and be prepared to have some failures.
Yeah.
And you know, this is where I think your videos actually sort of like bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really cool idea, because it is showing people things like, you know, people might say, well, sauteed onions, well, what bloody colour's onions supposed to be? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly that. Exactly.
You don't know that. You know, are they too soft? Are they too, you know, it's lightly brown. Yeah. Until if you see a picture of it, I've seen pictures and they don't look anything like mine sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm no chef. I'm no expert by any stretch. In the videos, you've got our head chef, Dan, who's guiding me through it, and I'm asking him all sorts of stupid questions that everyone's probably thinking, you know, and you never have the chance to ask them, really. So that's really the purpose of the videos, is to, like I say, fill in those gaps.
We believe that, you know, we've always got our wisdom. So there's loads of studies done. If you give children an option of food, they naturally know what's good for them. They're going to go for that. And if we encourage them to listen to that, then they're going to make naturally better choices. We've got a baseline, so we can have our moods that go up and down. And again, if you're cooking in the kitchen, and if you're a family doing it, you're not thinking about your worries, you're not thinking about your stresses. You're actually just focusing on reconnecting as a family. And I think that's a really good place to do it. We can't go out and do things at the moment. So we can do it inside, and I think the kitchen's a perfect place to do it.
That's really good. Again, leads on nicely to the next question, because I
knew them when I didn't.
I want to touch on about being present, and I know that's quite a deep subject, and maybe people don't really understand, you know, what I mean by that, but I'll try and explain. So Caboose Fresh kind of aims to get good food into people, food that tastes good and something a bit different. But on top, that's a primary objective, really, right? Because that's what we do, and we do it well. But as a secondary objective, we want to try and have a bit of a positive impact on people's mental well-being, you know, and try and give them something to enjoy, get distracted by, focus on. And that's what I mean by being present. Because when we're at home, all we're getting right now is, you know, we've got the news on, we've got Facebook going, we've got all these sources of information coming in, and it's all bringing a lot of negativity and a lot of pressure. And again, touching on the point about the kids, you know, as adults, their behaviours sort of not controlled, but it's impacted by all that information coming in. So then we become a little bit more touchy and a bit stressed and a bit ratty. So it has an impact then on the children. So the point about being present is, despite all that going on, if you've got something to give your attention to that you can't achieve if you haven't given it your full focus, you can't read a recipe and you can't listen to a video and you can't have 3 pans going at the same time with all kinds of things kicking off if you're not present. If you're not focused on that, that's not going to happen. So my point about how can we impact people's mental well-being is about giving them an hour where they're not thinking about the news, or they're not thinking of, future-based thinking, which is anxiety in a nice little package. They're not doing all that because they're focused on actually cooking something and putting a nice plate of food down in front of the family, which I think, if I was to go really deep into that, does that sort of release all these chemicals in the brain, such as serotonin, things that brings that feel good into the
Dopamine.
house?
Yeah.
Dopamine, sorry.
Dopamine, yeah.
So you got my weakness there. So I'm just interested in what you think about how being present and giving something your attention can have a really wider benefit and a big impact on you and your family and how you operate through this crisis.
Okay, well, once again, I've got to stick with our baseline, and our baseline is we've got the ability to reach our natural calm state at any time, no matter what the external circumstances, because it's what we think about something that creates our reality. Yeah. So as you say, if we are sitting worrying about not paying the bills or all of the things, everybody's an expert on Facebook at the moment.
Yeah.
So if we go and look at all of the conflicting experts, and then we're phoning all our friends and we're worrying about everything, and we've got nothing else to do but sit and talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually, our lower mood state's going to be impacted. We're going to be feeling a little bit like that.
Yeah, of course.
And if we're sitting thinking about all the things that we should have, would have, could have done, again, that's going to necessarily possibly just keep a bit lower state as well. But when we are engrossed, as you say, when we are engrossed in the present moment and actually just connecting as a family, when your connection for us is one of the most important things, because when you're connected as a family and you don't actually try to be present when you're being present, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You actually, as you say, okay, so if one of you chicks, that's your job to go and focus on, that's your pan, that's for you to do. Yeah. Your job's to go and do this and tell me how you're doing, and little mini chefs keep coming up and updating it.
Yeah.
That everybody, as you say, at the end of the day, is they're doing things and they're learning skills continually throughout.
Yeah.
And little bits of dopamine are being dropped because the connection's there, because they're having conversations instead of all of the adrenaline from cortisol from being worried and stressed about it. You get a different chemical and physical experience.
Yeah.
And by being present in any moment, it's stopping you going either forward or back.
I love the point about, you can be present without trying to be present. Yeah. And I'll give you an example. I took up boxing about 2 years ago. I've always been terrified. I've always wanted to do it, but I was terrified about doing it because it's once you're in a ring, there's no getting away from it. It's happening. Mm-hmm. And the coach asked me what I was thinking about. Why was I so anxious about it? And I said, well, I've got fear. I'm scared. I don't want to be punched in the face. And he says, I'll give you a bit of a tip. He says, you can't worry about being punched in the face while you're being punched in the face. And that blew my mind because. And I think that's just the same as being present. You don't have to try to do it. If you've got something that's taking all of your attention, you can't not be present. You have to be there. Yeah. So it's a really good point.
We're having this conversation now, and we're just in the conversation. We're not trying to be in the conversation. Yeah. We're in it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing when children and families are getting together and they're making things and they're coming up with, it's sparking ideas for other future recipes, for other different meals that they can make.
Oh, and absolutely.
It can grow and it can turn into a really beautiful thing for families. And when you've got, this is I've seen so much negativity. I'm finding this is a really, really beautiful time that parents have got a lot of, at home, a lot of people are lucky enough to be, and that sounds really bad, but in my world, it's lucky to be off work and be paid 80% of your wages. hell yes, I wish
Yeah.
I could have that, you know.
I mean, it depends how you look at it. If you look at things from a sort of glass half empty, negative viewpoint, you'll find what you go looking for. You know,
Always find what you seek.
you know, we as a business, we've had some, well, not had, we are experiencing some real tough times here, both as a business and a family. But there's loads of opportunity. There's absolutely tons of opportunity in this. And I've said this a few times on our videos and Facebook and stuff like that. I feel very privileged because, yes, we are struggling, but I've also got an opportunity and a platform where I can help other people. And that's a big value of mine personally, and we've incorporated that as one of our values as a business, is to help people. That's exactly why we're doing this. You know, it's about adding value and giving something back. So the opportunity there for me has been fantastic and it's been very rewarding. Spending time at home, like you say, with kids, that you're never going to get this. Well, hopefully we don't.
Hopefully we don't ever get this again, but it's nice
Nicest possible way. Hopefully don't ever have this opportunity to do that again, because it's born from a crisis and there's a lot of people suffering through it. But you like to say, if you have a positive view on this, there's a lot of opportunities to be had.
It's absolutely heartbreaking for all of those who are suffering, and you wouldn't wish it on anybody.
Oh, no.
It's horrible. But for those who are safe, who are at home, who have got being able to spend the quality time safely with their children, that's a chance they're never going to get again.
No, absolutely. And be present through it, grab the opportunity.
You can focus and you can worry. You could have sat and you could have had sleepless nights. You could have went and spoke to everybody you knew about how the restaurant had closed and how there was worries and how there was stresses. And all that would have done is kept your field of attention on that, kept dripping adrenaline into your body and kept you in a state of that. And that's what a lot of people are doing innocently and trying to do the best that they can.
Yeah.
And actually doing something, you can't be grateful and anxious at the same time.
No.
So
both different ends of the spectrum.
You physically can't do it.
Yeah.
So if you can look at, okay, the ideal situations, I know I am a heck of a lot luckier than a lot of people, because I'm not suffering, and I'm so lucky that I don't know anybody who has suffered from this.
Yeah.
And I know I'm in a privileged position to say that.
Yeah.
So I think I should appreciate that.
Oh, I do massively. Yeah, hugely. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but we've got our health, and money, business doesn't really.
I've lost money before. I've lost businesses before, and you know what? There's always you learn and you come back. Of course.
Well, listen, I really enjoyed that, and I think I started us off by saying, I'm not sure where people will see the link between food and mental well-being, or any of the things that we've spoke about in there, but I think it's even clearer now after that. I think it's very, very clear how that all works. And you talked about there's the food and put that inside your body and what that does, but then there's the experience that goes around that. And we talk about that a lot in the business. If we bring new staff in, we talk about the experience, because the food's only part of the experience. Even in the restaurant, as soon as you turn the corner and see the building and the lights, the experience has already started. You come in, you should be welcomed, it should feel nice and warm, it should smell good. So it's all about the experience, and that's exactly the same as what you're describing there at home, because coming together as a family, even that night, reminiscing about how great the day has been, you sat down, you had a meal, you get to experience all that feel-good thing again, because you're remembering it and you're recalling it. So I'm really chuffed that we've managed to come full circle there and link that food to being an experience, because that's exactly what we're trying to give people here. The whole reason people come out to a restaurant is to have an experience. It's to have some nice food, but it's also to have a good experience. And this is about giving them that at home, because now is when they need it, and more than ever. Yeah. So listen, thank you so much, Julie. I really enjoyed that. You're doing a great stuff there with kids, and I hope that continues. We're going to be doing more stuff for you.
Yes.
So yeah.
That didn't I? So can I quickly just add at the end of this,
Yeah.
we are holding an online carnival, and it's free for any parent that's got children on the Maybank holiday. And this is what Mark's just said. He's been roped into doing something, to sharing something, and it's just a lot of fun and experiences. And we're so pleased that Mark's actually coming on board with us with this as well, and doing a little segment to get the kids up and involved and doing things. So if you want to know any more about that, just ask Mark, let me know, because it's free. There's be loads of printables sent out for you, and it's just going to be a good fun day. We were going to have an external one, but obviously we can't, so we still wanted to do something to break the monotony and have a bit of fun.
That sounds excellent. I've got no idea what I've got myself involved in. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Hey.
No, listen, thanks again, Julie, and thanks everybody for watching. I really hope this has the desired impact. I can't see why you won't get something out of this. It's a great thing. Share it with people if you can. Share Julie's story. Share what we're trying to do, and get more people involved. And let's try and see how much an impact we can have throughout the community and do a great thing. So I think the message is, eat good and feel good, and we'll get through this together. So thanks very much, and we'll see.
Thank you.
Cheers, Julie. We'll see you all next time.